This news update is brought to you by
Grab somebody and tell them hello. Your happiness will be connected to flow. Smile and cheer because that is we flow. Grab somebody and tell them hello. With your hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow, yeah. Grab somebody and tell them this is how we flow.
It's Tuesday, October 13, and this is your Barbados Today Evening Update. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Thanks for joining us. A tragic accident has left one St. Michael family in shock this evening. Anthony Walcott lost his life this afternoon while on the job at Carrington Quarry in St. Philip when the bulldozer he was operating plunged some 100 feet. Our Anesta Henry is on the scene and has a report.
As the sun set, the wails and screams from family members and friends of Anthony Walcott echoed through Carrington's Quarry. Among the tears and scrambling to hold on to each other to support their weak knees after they viewed the lifeless body, some voiced that they could not understand how Walcott, an experienced tractor driver of more than 23 years, fell 100 feet while working on the cliff. Holding on to the arms of a dear friend, his devastated wife of more than 8 years, Colleen, told Barbados Today she was struggling to cope, but noted that her husband died doing what he lived and loved. Anesta Henry reporting for Barbados Today.
Thanks, Anesta. Meantime, lawmen are investigating the suspected suicide of a 49-year-old Black Rock St. Michael resident, Reginald Young. Young's body was discovered by his wife around 7:40 this morning, hanging in the bathroom of their Carlington Terrace, St. Stephen's Hill home. Police are treating his death as unnatural. One of this country's major teachers' unions is seeking to allay the fears of Barbadians over violence in schools. President of the Barbados Union of Teachers, Pedro Shepherd, says there is no need to worry right now over the apparent increase in violence among students. He believes that increase is as a result of greater access to technology.
I don't think it's at the stage that we ought to worry. I think schools have, in my mind, have it under control. Otherwise, I believe that they would have made some announcement, some move towards getting some resolution on these matters. I think schools are dealing with the matters as they come to hand. I know we had a case at one secondary school last year, which was dealt with at the level of the school, but it only surfaced in the social media a few weeks ago. And this is happening because once, in my opinion, once one school is portrayed, persons then look for other schools that they too can portray. So as to give a case where my school is not bad, other schools are indeed just as bad or worse. But some of the pictures that we are seeing are not new pictures. They're pictures of maybe a few months, a year, cases dealt with already, but it just surfacing for the first time.
Meantime, there are assurances that teachers will not be disadvantaged by the introduction of an education charter. Education Minister Ronald Jones announced the initiative this morning, saying it seeks to ensure that students are not disadvantaged. He told reporters the charter promotes respect for peers, other children, teachers, and parents.
People misinterpret particular strategies. They believe that certain things weaken the hands of leadership. In fact, it strengthens the hands of leadership because everybody knows the ground on which they can run or the ground on which they can walk, the path and the journey that they should take relative to interaction in a school, relative to how children should be treated. Children, within that charter, you'll find that children have it in that charter that they should respect their peers. They should respect the principal and teachers within the school. So it is not a charter that looks at one side of the coin, but look holistically at the total coin.
The Barbados Fire Service will not be letting up on businesses that have failed to comply with sound fire prevention practices. After a walkthrough in Swan Street today, Chief Fire Officer Errol Maynard expressed satisfaction that most businesses have followed through on the fire service's recommendations to better protect their businesses and customers. He, however, noted that some are still lagging behind, but his officers will be keeping up the pressure.
The act requires that every business players make a request to have their business inspected. Some people are a bit tardy on that. So what we're doing is to get our fire prevention officers out there, and they will visit some of these places. And once we see that, we will speak with the person, bring the legislation to their attention if they're not aware of it, and then most of them generally comply afterwards. It's still a work in progress. We haven't covered all of them as yet. I think that the majority of people that we've encountered are willing to comply, and that's what we're working on. So as we get them to comply, then we will have a safer Barbados.
Noted Barbadian Dr. Lawrence Bannister was laid to rest this evening. Hundreds gathered at the St. Andrew Parish Church to pay their final respects, including former Commissioner of Police Grantley Watson, Queen's Counsel Andrew Pilgrim, former Principal of the Combermere School Charlie Pilgrim, cricket legend Charlie Griffith, and historians Dr. Carl Watson and Trevor Marshall. Dr. Bannister was last year awarded a Gold Crown of Merit in the Island's Independence Awards in recognition of his outstanding contribution in medicine, Barbadian literature, and art. In his eulogy, Dr. Oscar Jordan described Bannister as one who had a razor-sharp intellect and enjoyed writing poetry and reading the classics.
I did not think Lance Bannister was immortal. I merely thought that he was indestructible. I thought that having reached 92, he would play back and back close together and reach 100. The words I heard were bitter for me because he befriended a young man, person like myself, 25 years his junior, and he was everything I was not.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits, with a solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter, that's the move for me. Stability, prosperity, with a solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
To regional happenings now, Jamaican author Marlon James made history in the United Kingdom today. He won the Man Booker Prize for his novel inspired by the attempted assassination of Bob Marley in the 1970s. Chair of the judging panel, Michael Wood, described the novel, A Brief History of 7 Killings, as the most exciting book on the shortlist. He went on to say that the 680-page epic was full of surprises and as well as very violent and full of swearing. James walked away with £50,000. United Nations officials have been meeting with the Guyana government to investigate a long-standing border dispute with neighboring Venezuela. The 6-person UN team left this evening after gathering information to advise Secretary General Ban Ki-moon on the next steps that should be taken. Guyana's President David Granger and his Venezuelan counterpart Nicolas Maduro met last month for UN-mediated talks in New York. Venezuela is claiming about 40% of Guyana's territory, which is rich with gold, diamonds, timber, and other natural resources. But Guyana rejects the claim and is pressing the UN to take the case to the International Court of Justice. And finally, Guatemalan authorities today called off the search for victims buried under a massive landslide that killed at least 280 people near the capital. The National Disaster Reduction Commission said it was time to end the search and rescue operation and focus on stabilizing the disaster zone. According to officials, 70 people are still listed as missing. On October 1, landslide unleashed at least 150 million cubic feet of earth on a neighborhood on the outskirts of Guatemala City. Authorities have promised financial aid for the victims of the slide and are proposing to build 150 new homes for survivors on a 10-block parcel of land near Guatemala City that was seized from a convicted drug trafficker and gang leader. And on that note, we come to the end of our evening update, but do join us again tomorrow morning. Until then, log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, our email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Channel 101 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM. There you can get all the latest news and sports. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.